The Dodgers just signed Kirby Yates, and I'm in shock, honestly. Kirby Yates was a player that I had identified early in the offseason as someone that I thought the Dodgers could go for if they needed to make replacements in the bullpen. Obviously, Daniel Hudson retired soon after the season ended, and Kirby Yates was just one of those names that looked really appealing. His numbers were amazing this past year. He is older, which probably explains why he was available on the market for so long, but after getting Tanner Scott, I really did not think it was a possibility, especially at the number that we had to get Tanner Scott at. But the Dodgers continually prove that money is not an issue. They are getting Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates, and I am incredibly excited. I do expect Alex Vesia to be back. So you got Kopech, Vesia, Banda, Tanner Scott, Blake Trinan, Kirby Yates now. Bruce Guerrero will come back from injury. The list just goes on, and I don't know what the Dodgers are going to do. We currently do not have room on the roster for all these people. I think we can definitely expect some trades of the young guys. Bobby Miller, what is his future going to be? I personally would hate for us to lose Bobby Miller because, as you all know, if you follow my channel at all, I'm a Bobby Miller fan. I love this man. I don't know why necessarily I love him so much, but I just want him to be very successful as a major league pitcher. I don't want him to go to the minor leagues, to be honest. I think he has the stuff to be a major league pitcher. I just think he needs to find mentally that space for him to be successful. Maybe it is a new environment, but I don't want him in the minors because I do believe he's an electric pitcher and I want him seeing him pitching at the major league level. But Hunter Fiducia, potentially. Dalton Rushing, I know there's a lot of hype around him possibly coming up, but is he someone that we consider moving? Emmett Sheehan, you got Michael Grove, Edgardo Enriquez. There are a lot of names still that I know we can move. Chris Taylor is another big one. What is Chris Taylor's future going to be? I know this front office loves Chris Taylor. I love Chris Taylor. I understand, amidst his struggles, the versatility he provides, what he's able to do kind of all across the field. I totally understand his value from that perspective, but are we running out of space for him? And so the Dodgers definitely do need to make some sort of moves. Obviously everyone will be paying attention to see what those moves eventually are. But the headline this weekend, we grabbed Roki Sasaki, Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates. This Dodgers pitching, not even a rotation, but the number of pitchers that we have available as a starter, as a reliever, as a long reliever, it is truly a sight to behold. I cannot remember a team having this kind of offseason pretty much ever. I've never seen anything like this to this scale. The Dodgers continue to make moves at a level that I definitely did not think was possible. I think a lot of other people feel like there's something wrong with the system. And maybe there is. I think everyone's expectation at this point is that there's going to be a lockout coming up to try and mitigate some of these, what I think people would identify as unfair spending by the top teams. But I just got to say, even if that were to happen, one, I do think that'll still benefit the Dodgers for a shortened season, less opportunity for injury. If we do come back and have a shortened lockout season, I think the Dodgers will be successful. If we do come back and there's a salary cap and teams need to get rid of players, I still think the Dodgers are going to be successful. I think the problem with all of these mechanisms is that the reason it seems like a lot of people want this is that they want to take away from the success of the bigger teams. But that's just not going to happen. At the end of the day, the Dodgers are going to be successful no matter what structure you put in front of them because of who runs this team and our ability to maneuver in and around the cap or other tax situations, as well as creating an environment in which people want to come play here now. The Dodgers have a clear advantage in that with Roki Sasaki rejecting, I think, more than $5 to $6 million from the Padres potentially to come to the Dodgers. And yeah, I'm not going to touch on the potential handshake deals that existed beforehand. I don't believe that to be the case. Even if it was, it is, I think, a little bit of a standard practice with international free agents. Obviously, the anger comes from the fact that there was a charade of parading around different cities and teams, trying out for them, pitching with the Padres that anger people. But at the end of the day, nothing new. But But the Dodgers are going to continue to succeed because of what they've built in Los Angeles. And I think if you look at other leagues, Kansas City wouldn't be successful without Patrick Mahomes, potentially the best quarterback of all time. If you take out their recent run, the teams that succeed are the ones that spend money, even within the existing structure that exists. The Patriots won for a long time by being smart about the money. They had the best quarterback of all time, taking less money, but still figuring out a way to make it work because he was able to do that with his wife and his advertisements. So in the same way, the Dodgers are going to be doing the same thing. If there's less money available to spend on these players, and they chase kind of these slotted contracts of max contracts, yeah, you might get a little bit more distribution of stars at other places, but I promise you, given an option, a player will choose to go to better market, more historical team, versus, I don't want to call it any other Midwestern state or city, but that's just a reality. That's just how I think it tends to work out. And so for mid-market teams, it actually benefits them that there is no salary cap structure because they can offer a competitive offer to anybody. There's no limitation. It again comes back to these owners spending the money. That is there. I promise you the money is there. Nobody is hurting in baseball for money. This seems particularly unfair for me to say, and I'm going to acknowledge that this is not fair, but it is not necessarily an opportunity for every team to both make money and win. Some people can just make money. Some people can just win. The Dodgers and a few other teams can both make money and win. I agree. That is not fair. But as a fan, I think that's where you have to look at the owners and say, we want to win. Whereas again, the owners want to make money and win. But the making the money part for rich people is still the most important thing. You know what I mean? They still want to make money because that's just what they do. Every endeavor in life is, what is the ROI? And I think, unfortunately for fans, if they are tied to an owner that really indexes on that money made, it's going to be tough for them to ever extend themselves in a way where they are, like the Dodgers, putting $1 billion on layaway to purchase championships now. So, I feel for fans. I think that me just being born in LA, obviously I've rooted for teams in LA my whole life. And LA has always been a glamour market. But that hasn't always led to success. And I think it's only more recently in which the Dodgers got Shohei Ohtani to defer pretty much all of his $700 million contract. And then got deferrals from, Mookie Betts already had deferrals. Freddie Freeman already had deferrals. Now you got Teoscar Hernandez with some deferrals. Tommy Edman with deferrals. Like, it is overwhelming. I do acknowledge that. But it is part of the fact that the Dodgers have built something that players just want to join. So, again, the headline, Dodgers signed Kirby Yates, one of the top relief arms available on the market. I will note, though, he is 38. You never know when that arm is going to give away. He had a decent, few seasons and then really blew up again in Texas last year. So he's definitely capitalizing on probably his peak. But someone that anybody could have had. Again, it's these players, both that everybody wanted, but also players that apparently nobody else wanted. So I know people want to be upset about it, but him in particular, don't be mad about the Kirby Yates thing. Don't be mad about the Tanner Scott thing. I understand being mad about the Roki Sasaki thing because it wasn't a money thing. But these other players like Blake Snell, if he had been offered more money, let's say he didn't get any deferrals with the same contract from another team, I promise you he probably would have taken that money. Maybe according to him, he always wanted to be a Dodger. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but these guys all have agents who also want to make money, who also want to be known as the agent that got them this amount of money. So there's a lot of competing interests that exist in free agency. And I think ultimately, I'm of the belief that if other teams paid up for these players, they would have ended up on those teams, and the Dodgers wouldn't be in the position they are now. So I get it. It just feels like another one for the Dodgers, and it is, but preventable by so many teams if they had just stepped up. So Dodgers get Kirby Yates. We are in need of making a lot of moves. Curious to see who they'll be, but Dodgers are looking good for 2025, baby. Let's go.